Breaking news, Amari Cooper decided to quit on the Raiders yet again. My name is Mitchell Renz. Y'all are watching the Raiders Report, and when Raiders breaking news happens, I'm going to keep you up to date. I'll be very honest with you. The moment I got the news that Amari Cooper was retiring, quitting on the Raiders after signing a deal with us less than 10 days ago, here is my reaction. Right there. And if you feel the exact same way, hit that subscribe button, because I don't want to be the guy that sits up here and tells you I told you so. But I told you so that Amari Cooper was not going to help the Las Vegas Raiders this upcoming season. Maybe Amari just wanted to retire a Raider. Maybe he was never actually ready to play football this upcoming season. We talked about the rumors about him not being in shape. If you don't believe me, go back and check out the video on Tuesday, because he literally signed with the Raiders on August 26th. It was a one-year deal, $3.5 million. $500,000 per game is what he would have made, and he could have made up to $6 million. Now, I get that Amari's made a lot of money in his day, and I know that a lot of the money that Amari's getting is a lot of money to me. It's a lot of money to a lot of y'all out there, and maybe it wasn't enough to get him to play. But now I'm sitting back here and I'm going, the Raiders only have 4 guys on their roster. They kept 5 receivers, and they decided to keep 5 receivers because they were hoping that Amari Cooper was going to be able to compete for that number 3 spot. They're going to go out now, and they're absolutely positively going to have to add somebody, whether it be free agency. I don't think it's going to be a trade, probably going to be from the practice squad. And we'll talk about overall who on this team kind of gets impacted the most by this move in a little bit. But this is going to be the pinned comment. I want you to vent your frustrations, or if you want to take a victory lap, take a flipping victory lap. What is your word reaction to Amari Cooper retiring right now? Unbelievable. And it's the Raiders. It's unbelievable. This team always has something, whether it's the Christian Wilkins situation, now it's the Amari Cooper situation. But I don't want to act like I'm really all that upset about this move. I'm more upset that Amari stood in front of the podium, looked at you, looked at me, looked at all of us Raider fans in the eyes, and he had the balls to say, because he had the balls to tell us that he was excited to be a Raider. He had the balls to tell us that he had a lot of juice left in the tank, and I fell for it a little bit. But I'm like kind of that hopeful Raiders fan, if you will, that wants to be able to buy into what he's selling. But I am a believer in once a quitter, always a quitter. And he did say it's nice, it's a good feeling, a full circle moment. I'm excited about the opportunity, and I'm ready to embrace it. Well, yet again, Amari Cooper decided to lie to a bunch of Raiders fans, and I'm not all that surprised by it. Do I really think this hurts our football team? It hurts us from a depth standpoint. It hurts us just from, having, I think, that other body, another receiver that you could potentially rely on. But I was sit up here, and I was roasted for saying I think he's the 4th or 5th best wide receiver on this Raiders team. I said he's not better than Trey Tucker. He's not better than Jacoby Myers. He's not better than Dante Thornton Jr. He had a chance to be better than Jack Bech. I know this cast, Joey. I know I won the bet. I can't wait to see what you do tonight on the Raiders Report the next time you decide to pull up. We talked about it on Tuesday. There were some reports that Amari looked fat, that Amari looked slow, that he looked out of shape, and there's a big difference between being in good shape, being in football shape, and then, as you can clearly see, being a little bit out of shape. And I reached out to some sources. I reached out to some people around the Raiders organization. And when this deal first went down, I did say it rubbed some people the wrong way. There's a lot of people in that organization that do not like Amari Cooper, but we're trying to buy into the fact of, okay, if he's willing to come back and if he's willing to put his best foot forward, then why wouldn't I be able to do that exact same thing? There were people that were upset that Jacoby Myers wanted a new contract, requested a trade. A few hours later, the Raiders go out and they get Amari Cooper. I want players that want to play for the silver and black. I want players that don't quit on me, and I especially don't want players that quit on me twice. And Amari Cooper has quit on the Raiders twice. What happened today with Amari is exactly why you go out and you pay Jacoby Myers. You give him an extension, because that's a guy who busts his hump for you every single day. That's a guy that wants to be a part of this organization, and he's a lot better than Amari Cooper. Coming up, how the Amari Cooper news impacts some of these Raiders players right now, because I think that there are 5 things that the moment this news happened, I was like, oh, okay, Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what those five oh, yeah, okay, yes, were in just a moment. But you know what? I'm excited for some football tonight, and I got a lineup tonight. I don't know about you. I hope that you do. And today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. If you want to see my lineup that I'm rolling with for Raiders, Patriots, Week 1, I know it's a doozy. It's 20 to win, 364. I'd feel a little bit more confident if it was 365. I'm going a lot of Moors, and the reason why I'm going with a lot of Moors, I believe that this Raiders team is going to be in a lot of high-scoring games. So if you want to roll with that lineup, or if you want to tune in tonight when we're live for Eagles-Cowboys, I'll show you my lineup that I got here tonight. I also showed it to you guys yesterday on the Raiders Report. Then download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And you know what? It's good to be right as well. I wanted to be excited when the Raiders signed Amari Cooper, but I'm never going to be the person that sits up here and lies to this fan base, that lies to Raider Nation, that lies to a lot of my friends. And I do consider y'all my friends, and that's why I'm always going to give my honest opinion. But I was right on Amari Cooper. I didn't think he was going to help us out this season. I didn't think that he was in good shape last season. And I know people want to fall in love with the old Amari Cooper. But Amari Cooper proved that he's Amari Cooper, and he don't want to be a Raider. So how is this move going to impact the silver and black? Well, now we only have 4 wide receivers on this team. It is an extra stress on Jakobi Meyers, Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, and Jack Besh. These are the only 4 receivers on the Raiders. And jokingly, I kind of wonder if Amari decided to retire once he saw that he was a backup on the depth chart, because he was a backup with Jack Besh, and maybe he realized that he wasn't going to be able to make enough money to hit that $6 million. I also look at it and go, well, you could have still made almost $5 million if you just would have shown up. But $5 million to wear a Raiders jersey isn't good enough for Amari Cooper. I'll wear a Raiders jersey. I'll tell you that right there. Again, Amari, you can have one of these. I think this helps out Alex Bachman. When you see how the Raiders put Amari on that depth chart, they put him at slot. Jakobi Meyers is listed as the starting slot receiver. The number one person that I think it helps is Alex Bachman. And quite frankly, he's going to get called up, and he's going to be in that New England Patriots game. I almost guarantee that he's going to be out there. Another really sneaky name that this is the safer floor, not as high upside. Much lower floor, much higher upside. Cedric Jackson, somebody that I thought did pretty well in the preseason. Somebody that I thought, adds some of that vertical passing attack, just a better athlete than Bachman overall, but he might get an opportunity now to make a 53-man. Here's what I really think it means. I think it shows that Jakobi Meyers is ready. I think it shows that Jakobi, even though he didn't get the trade request, even though he didn't get the extension yet, as Jakobi said yesterday, I ain't tripping. What Jakobi told me yesterday was he's going to go out there and he's going to handle his business like a professional. And I want guys on this team that are professionals. That's exactly what Jakobi Meyers is. And I think if there was doubt in terms of him not being ready to go, I do almost wonder if the Jakobi Meyers trade request happened, the Raiders panicked a little bit, because based on what Jakobi was saying, Raiders don't really seem very interested in paying him. They go out and they get Amari Cooper. Well, now Amari realizes that he's nowhere near Jakobi Meyers, and he's not better than Trey Tucker. He's not better than Dante Thornton Jr. He's the 4th wide receiver on this team. And then even after Jakobi speaking to the media going hey, man, I'm a professional. I'm going to be out there for my teammates. That's going to earn yet that utmost respect yet again, that this team wants this organization to go pay Jakobi Meyers. And it's not surprising that a move that upset some Raiders players, now Amari Cooper decided to hang him up, and he's retiring from the NFL. I'm not going to speak about the career he had. I know he was drafted by the Raiders, number 4 overall back in, 2015? A lot of NFL seasons. But when you do the Raiders dirty, not once but twice, with all due respect again, right there for you, Amari. Let's go to the last one here. I think the rumors are obviously true that Dante Thornton Jr., about this, role that he's going to be featured in. I knew that he was going to be featured in this downfield passing attack. Now he's going to be featured even more. And when you look at the depth chart, he was listed by himself as the outside receiver. And I think he is listed as the top outside receiver because you got Trey Tucker and Jack Besh. I think that those two are going to be the ones that kind of mix and match a little bit. Dante's going to be on the field. In terms of snaps and routes ran, I almost wonder if Dante is going to run the third most routes behind a Jacoby Myers, behind a Brock Bowers. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. And Chip Kelly, they're going to chuck the ball deep, and I can't wait to see the ball getting thrown deep. You know what I'm also really excited for? Football is so flipping back. My wife, she's a Cowboys fan, so I was like, I'm going to wear Raiders gear. But I also had to wear my Kelly green shorts here for Philadelphia. If you want to hear more of my thoughts around the Amari Cooper retiring move, I am going to be live 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Raiders Report. Me and Jeremy Chuggs, we're going to be talking about this for an hour and 20 minutes leading up to this game. As soon as this game starts, I'm talking about the Cowboys. I'm talking about the Eagles. It's Thursday shenanigans. They're back. I better see you there. Make sure you're subscribed. Who knows? You might even see a Guinness boot tonight.